Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome on in to today's Halos in the Infield pregame show with special guest host Dominic Lorenz here from Katella Chronicles, filling in for the one and only James, who's out again today, unfortunately, due to some work that he had to get done. But don't worry, James will be back for Friday's pregame show. Again, the Angels have a day off tomorrow before a big Texas two-step road trip in Houston and then against the Texas Rangers. But today, the main focus is Angels versus Giants, game 3 of this 3-game set, the rubber match of this 3-game series. And of course, on the bump today, Shohei Ohtani, Showtime, takes the hill today for the Halos, looking to make it 2 in a row, not 1, but 2. The Angels finally snapping the 7-game skid last night by the final of 7-5. They got contributions from everybody. Mike Moustakas, Hunter Renfroe, Brandon Drury with a big clutch home run. Good pitching last night. Not great, but better pitching from Lucas Giolito. Only gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings of work and had 7 strikeouts, but a much better performance from Giolito in his home debut with the Angels. So they get the win last night. We'll recap yesterday's game just a little bit before we get into today's lineups and all the news stories that are going along today. But overall, a good win yesterday for the Angels, and hopefully win today to make it 2 in a row before going into the off day and the road trip in Texas over the next 6 days. Before we get into everything, as always, not 1, but 2 phenomenal sponsors here with Halos in the Infield. Don't forget 714 Tickets. That's right, 714 Tickets, 714 Tickets, 714 Tickets. Has been an awesome sponsor this year. Use the code HITI at checkout. That's HITI for 10% off your tickets. You also get entered into a jersey raffle, and you get money put back into your account as well. So go check out 714 Tickets for any tickets that you need. If it's the Angels, if it's the Ducks, if it's the Lakers, if it's your favorite football team, any sport, any concert, any theater event, anything you need. And it doesn't just have to be here in California. It could be wherever else you need them. 714 Tickets has your needs. And then also don't forget, Noble Ale Works just outside of Angel Stadium off Katella and Sunkist. Go on out. Free parking for any Angel home game. You can go, have a brewski, get some terrific deals over there at Noble Ale Works. If you mention Halos in the Infield, they take really good care of you. Their beers are phenomenal. The venue is phenomenal. They have food trucks that come in each and every day, and it's a little bit different each and every day as well. I know Mr. Todd, he was there on Monday for Monday's Angel game, and he had a good time as well. So don't forget to check out Noble Ale Works, another great sponsor here of Halos in the Infield. But let's get to the meat of the business here. Angels Giants today. It's Shohei Ohtani on the bump for the Halos against an opener for the San Francisco Giants. That's twice. They had the starter Alexander yesterday, who was a left-handed specialist out of the bullpen, be an opener in that role. Today, they're going to do the same thing with a right-hander. We'll get into who it is in a little bit, but it's Angels and Giants, game 3 of this 3-game set. Let's take a look at what the hell happened last night in a 7-5 Halos victory, snapping a 7-game losing streak. It all started off in the bottom of the first. Angels score 4 in the first frame. They get it on an RBI single, first and foremost by Mr. Shohei Ohtani to make it 1-0 Angels. Mike Moustakas chipped in with an RBI single, scoring Ohtani to make it 2-0. And then for the 28th time this season, Hunter Renfroe, a doubles machine, picks up a 2 RBI double to make it 4-0 Angels after 1 inning of work. The Giants would get on the board with 3 runs of their own in the 3rd inning on an RBI single by Jock Peterson, and then a 2-run single by Wilmer Flores, 4-3 Angels through that frame. But it wasn't until the 5th inning where the Angels got on the board again, and for the 15th time this year, Brandon Drury cranks a solo blast into right field to make it 5-3 Angels. They would add a little bit more insurance runs in the bottom of the 7th with a sacrifice fly by Mike Moustakas. Wilmer Flores would inch the Giants a little bit closer, a little tense, a 2-run blast to make it 6-5. Matt Theis put the cherry on top in the bottom of the 8th with a sacrifice fly of his own. And looking at the box score, it was not Carlos Estevez last night in a save situation, after blowing the last two. It was the newcomer, Dominic Leon, former Met, now Angel. He goes 2 innings, gives up 1 run on 1 hit with 1 strikeout, locks down his first save as an Angel. Giolito, after tossing 6 innings, 3 runs, 3 hits, and 7 punchouts, gets his first dub as an Angel. He's now 7-8 overall this season. Final score on this one, 7 runs on 12 hits and no errors for the Angels. 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Giants. Time of the game, 2 hours and 36 minutes in front of a great crowd of 31,974, witnessing Light That Baby Up. The Angels improved to 57-58. The Giants fall to 62-52. And the Angels looking to make it 2 in a row today against the San Francisco Giants and trying to put them in some sort of a positive trend going into tomorrow's off day, and then a big 6-game road trip, 3 in Houston Friday through Sunday, and then in Texas at Globe Life Field against the Rangers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And fun fact, we'll go through some scores in a little bit, but Texas did lose to the Oakland A's today by the final of 2-0, so food for thought in the American League West Division standings. A lot of good things to like from last night's game. Like I said, Mike Moustakas has been an absolute fantastic addition to the Angels puzzle. He's really gotten his way to become the leader of this team. He's batting extremely well with the Angels. I'm going to break down some of his stats for you right now in comparison when he was on the Rockies to where he is now. Overall this season, Moustakas is .274 batting average with 10 dingers and 37 RBIs. Okay, the numbers don't jump off the page, but it's still productivity at a first base, third base position at 34 years of age. He's a World Series champion. He's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. He's from Chatsworth, California. This is a homecoming for him, and I can see big things moving forward for Mike Moustakas. He's a free agent at the end of the year. The Angels are only paying him $720,000 to be here. That was his deal with the Rockies in spring training. So I could see the Angels signing him for 2 years, $10 million, really kind of formulating the end of the Anthony Rendon era over the next 3 years. You know, the era of maybe, Nathan Shonwell, Nolan Shonwell, pardon me, the Angels' new recent first-round draft pick who's already at Double-A. He's going to be a first baseman. He's a huge bat. I could totally see Mike Moustakas helping mold Shonwell into something really, really special. So you could utilize Moustakas in more ways than one, in my opinion. But looking at his overall numbers this year, Colorado played 47 games, had a .270 average. With the Angels in 33 games, has a .278 batting average. And he's pretty much put up similar numbers everywhere. 4 home runs, 17 RBIs with the Rockies, 6 home runs, 20 RBIs with the Angels, 7 doubles with the Rockies, 6 doubles with the Angels. So at the end of the day, he's essentially replicating what he did with the Rockies in a much shorter time span by about 15 games, 14 games or so between the two squads. So I'm really loving what I see from Mike Moustakas. He is a catalyst to this team, and he's always an X factor on the field right now. And today he is in the starting lineup for your Halos. Brandon Drury has been a spark plug all year. He picks up his 15th home run of the year. What can you say about Brandon Drury? The Angels signed him to a 2-year deal. He started off a little rough the first 3 weeks of the season, but he's now batting .277 this year with 15 home runs, 47 RBIs. If he didn't get hurt, I would say he would probably be around 20 home runs, if not more, and he'd probably be closer to 60 to 65 RBIs guaranteed no matter what. So I really like what Brandon Drury has put to the table. This Angels infield, again, with a mountain of injuries this year with the Halos from top to bottom, if it's pitching or if it's batting. Drury's been a catalyst. Moustakas has been a catalyst. Somehow, some way, Luis Rengifo over the last month has been a catalyst at the top of the order. I know C.J. Cron just kind of entered the picture last week, but the Angels have really something special here. I know Gio Urshela was big early on before he had season-ending pelvis injury. You know, Zach Neto is the shortstop of the future for this squad. I really like where the Angels are infield-wise moving forward now and in the coming year. So there's some positivity to take right now. I know it's coming off honkish a little bit. Oh, positivity. We won a game. No, There's still business to be at hand right now, no doubt about it. The Angels are sitting deep, deep, deep down in the American League wildcard standings, but there's still plenty of time in that sense if you look at it from a honk perspective. But again, here at Halos in the Infield, and of course with me, Katella Chronicles, we like to have our honkism with just a little bit of realism on the back end side of things. Now, before we get into some of the standings, let's take a look at what the heck is going on today. Shohei Ohtani. Dun 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 dun. The Bally Sports theme is going to be playing big time tonight. Shohei Ohtani on the bump, 9-5 with a 3.32 ERA this season and 160 strikeouts. He's going to take on the righty for the Giants. A bullpen guy turned spot starter today, Ryan Walker. Walker, 28 games, a 4-1 record, a 2.52 ERA in 39 and a third innings pitched. So, battle of righties. Here's the starting lineup today first for the visiting San Francisco Giants. They're going to have Wade Jr. leading things off at DH, followed by Estrada at second, Wilmer Flores batting third at first. Then you have the ex-Dodger, Jock Peterson, will be in the cleanup spot in left field. Then you have J.D. Davis at third, Michael Conforto in right, Bailey, their catcher, batting seventh, Brandon Crawford at short, and Luis Matos, the center fielder, batting ninth to round things up to support Walker. For your Halos, looking to make it 2 in a row. Let's see what they can do tonight. And mentioned just moments ago, Luis Rengifo has really been honing in on his craft at the top of the order. He's bumped his season average to 238, which doesn't sound like much, but when he was teetering around the 190s for the longest time, 238 is better than 190. But Luis Rengifo will lead things off at short tonight. Ohtani will bat second, the two-way guy pitching. Drury back in the three-hole at second. Moustakas taking cleanup duties today at third. CJ Cron at first will bat fifth. Then you have Mickey Moniak going from 8th spot last night, going up to the 6th hole in center field. Renfroe will stay in his coveted 7th hole in right. Matt Thaiss will be behind the plate tonight catching. And Randall Grichuk will be batting ninth in left field, all in support of Shohei Ohtani. So that's your starting lineups today for the Angels and the Giants. A lot of good things to take from this game. And as we get to the lineups, let's take a look at the up-to-the-minute standings. In the American League, the Angels did not gain a game even though they won last night. But the Texas Rangers, as mentioned already, snapped their winning streak. Oakland A's beat them by the final of 2-0 today. So the Angels right now 11 games back of first place Texas. And I know mathematically the Angels are still in it. Maybe theoretically they have a chance, but it seems very hard with a month and a half left in the season to gain those 11 games back to win the division. But hey, there's no E next to their name, so they're still alive in some way, shape, or form. So Texas in first, Houston 2.5 back, the Mariners 6 back, and then your Angels 11 games back. Looking at the wild card standings right now, you have Tampa, Houston, and Toronto controlling their own fate with Seattle 2 back, Yankees 4.5 back, Boston 5 back, and the Angels 7 back. So if the Angels win and Toronto loses, somehow, some way, the Angels are just 6 games back where they were a couple of weeks ago before making some trades. Taking a look at now some scores around baseball right now that really affect the Angels. St. Louis is beating Tampa Bay by the final of 6-4. Tigers lead the Twins. Twins lead the American League Central, but that can change on a dime very quickly. Food for thought here. In Philadelphia, Phillies lead the Nats 7-0. You're probably sitting there saying, why the heck are we talking about the Phillies and the Nationals when they're in the National League? Well, ex-Angel Michael Lorenzen, who was just traded from the Tigers over to the Phillies at the trade deadline, has a no-hitter right now in the top of the ninth inning, 2 outs. It looks like the game just went final. And if I have it right, and I believe so, if this is all correct, Michael Lorenzen has just thrown a no-hitter against the Washington Nationals. Oh, me, oh, my. I know his mom was a friend of the Halos in the Infield and Katella Chronicles podcast last year when he was a Halo. I know she's at the game with Michael's significant other and their baby. The Angels could have had Lorenzen at the trade deadline. They chose to go Lucas Giolito. And boy, oh boy, Michael Lorenzen has just thrown a no-hitter for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's the 14th no-hitter in Phillies franchise history. First since 2015. Wow. Congratulations to Michael Lorenzen. Flipping back on some scores, Astros lead the Orioles 3-2 in the fifth. Boston leading Kansas City 4-2 in the seventh. Blue Jays lead the Guardians 1-0 in the seventh. And the White Sox leading the Yankees 3-0 in the bottom of the third. So some help, some not so much, but all the Angels can do tonight is control their own fate in a sense, and all you can focus on is winning games. The Angels are probably going to have to scoreboard watch a little bit throughout the next month and a half if they still want to compete in the American League wild card. They've got 4 teams above them, including Toronto, to make it 5. So there's some work to be done. Again, mathematically, the Angels are not out of this thing. Theoretically, the hole is thickening, but last night, picking up that win against the Giants last night by the final of 7-5, stop the 7-game losing streak, stop the bleeding a little bit, and looking to make it 2 in a row. Because again, like I said, this upcoming weekend and the upcoming road trip essentially is going to be incredibly tough. You have the Houston Astros for 3, and then you have the Texas Rangers for 3. And looking at pitching probables for that series, it's not going to be easy. 2 teams that are bona fide ready to go to the postseason. And this is what it looks like right now. You have Detmers against Verlander in game 1, Tyler Anderson against France in game 2, and then Solseth against Ukiti in the third game Sunday afternoon. But off going from Houston to Arlington, Texas, Patrick Sandoval in game 1 against Mad Max Scherzer. Game 2, Lucas Giolito against Jordan Montgomery, who was just welcomed in from the St. Louis Cardinals. And then Shohei Ohtani will pitch the final game of that series against John Gray. So 6-game road trip, all 6 Angel pitchers are going to be put in use. After that, guess what? They got to come back home after a Thursday off day to take on Tampa for 3 and Cincinnati for 3. Cincinnati's struggling right now. Tampa Bay has been kind of hit and miss so far, so maybe you can take advantage of that homestand before going to New York and Philadelphia. But a lot of work to be done. The Angels cannot do what they did over the weekend against the Mariners and drop 5 out of the 6 on this road trip. Somehow, some way, the Angels got to win today and somehow find a way to take 4 out of 6 on this upcoming road trip. I know that sounds incredibly hard. I think we'll take 3 out of 3, or pardon me, three going 3-4-3, and kind of just going a 500 record. But there's time. Mathematically, they're not out of it. Theoretically, the hole is a little deeper after getting swept in the 4-game set against the Mariners and losing Monday to the Giants. All 5 were incredibly winnable games. The Angels, in a way, with last night's win, should be on a 6-game winning streak right now. And if they were, they would essentially be 62-54 right now, 8 games above 500, and probably exactly where Seattle is in the wild card situation. But losing those 5 games in a row did not help. The Angels are going to have to shift their focus. Winning series is great, but to make up for a lot of the inconsistencies and the blown games this season, the Angels are going to have to find ways to start sweeping series. And it's not going to be easy. They got some tough teams the rest of August, and the schedule eases up a little bit going into September, but still, you got to take care of the business at hand. And right now, the Angels got to do that tonight against the Giants, and then this upcoming weekend after the off day tomorrow in Houston and in Texas. But Shohei Ohtani is on the bump. I know there was a lot of conversation of if he was going to be an Angel after the deadline, and they decided to go all in. They bought at the deadline. Ohtani stayed 21 games off the bump this season. He's 9-5 with a 3.32 ERA and 124.2 innings pitched, 160 strikeouts. His last game on Thursday against the Mariners didn't quite go as planned. He did throw 4 scoreless innings of 3-hit baseball against the Mariners with 4 strikeouts, but left after the 4th with some hand cramping. So something to look out for Shohei Ohtani. Pretty much all of July, the fingernail was a constant issue. It kind of pulled him out of some starts. Not early in those starts, but, after 4, 5, 6 innings, it would bother him, and he would have to come out. His previous start to last time on July 27th, the first game of that doubleheader in Detroit, his first career complete game shutout against the Tigers. So he was coming off a big high, and then he continued his scoreless baseball against Seattle before the cramping started. So we'll see what happens in the sense of Shohei Ohtani being able to consistently throw shutout baseball. He's done it now for 13 plus innings. I'd have to look back at his last start against the Pittsburgh Pirates 2 starts ago on July 21st when he stopped giving up runs, because in that game he got the win, but he did give up 5 earned runs in 6 1/3 innings pitched. So kind of having to do the numbers a little bit, but guaranteed 13 plus innings of work for Shohei of shutout baseball. That's something the Angels are going to definitely need tonight. Shohei is going to have to be the guy that gives the Angels at least 5 to 6 quality innings. The bullpen has been taxed this homestand. It's been awful. Estevez isn't right. Loop's been utilized, 5 out of the last 6 days. Leon pitched multiple innings. Ronaldo Lopez is on the bereavement list right now, so that's one less arm in the pen. They do have Zach Weiss up right now, but there is some situations right now where the Angels bullpen is taxed. And Shohei, with the off day coming up tomorrow, everybody will go back to square zero on Friday when they start the series in Houston. But Ohtani's going to need to give the Angels bullpen somehow, some way, 5, more so 6 clean innings of work tonight. Don't want to have to go to the bullpen early against the San Francisco Giants squad, who is back-to-back days. They're going to throw an opener at the Angels. It did not work out yesterday with Alexander. He got bounced after 4 batters when the Angels scored 4 in the first inning. But today it's Ryan Walker. He wears number 74, 4-1 with a 2.52 ERA in 28 games pitched this season. He has started 7 games so far for the Giants. So looking at all of his starts this year, the most recent one came back on July 29th against the Boston Red Sox. And in that game, he threw 2 2/3 innings, no runs, and 1 hit with 3 strikeouts. So the longest outing this year, he did have a 3-inning game on July 21st against the Washington Nationals. And looking at more from a glance, he had another 3-inning game on June the 11th. And that's it. So 3 innings has been his max. So you're pretty much looking at this starting pitcher, Ryan Walker, going maybe 2+ innings in that sense. So just like last night, the Angels should carry over that same thing. Hit early and often. If the Angels could drop another 4 spot in the first inning like they did last night, that would be huge, not only for Shohei Ohtani, but for this offense, and to really get to that Giants bullpen early and throw them off their scheduled plan of having a legit bullpen day. Looking at the Giants last night in their contest, again, having Alexander as their opener, the Giants ended up using only 3 pitchers after Alexander. Junis threw 3 innings, Wood threw 4 innings, and then Jackson threw 1. So really, only 3 guys out of their bullpen were seriously used in that sense. So the Angels are going to have to really dig deep tonight, get back into the winning mindset, because that's the mindset they're going to need to be in the rest of the season. They're going to, if you get a win tonight, you win the series. You salvage the homestand in some way, shape, or form, winning 2 of the last 3. But then you're going to have to start focusing in. The Angels are probably in the rest of August and maybe even going into the opening of September where they go to Oakland. You might need to sweep 2 or 3 series to kind of right the wrongs that you did all last week during that 7-game losing streak. So there's going to be a lot of work to be done for the Angels. It's not going to come easy. They're going to have to play some quality teams. The Houston Astros are very good. The Texas Rangers are very good. Tampa's in a playoff spot. Cincinnati, yes, has been struggling, but they are still a formidable piece in the NL Central. Then you got to go to the Mets, who, even though they sold, they could still be deadly. The Phillies, look tonight, Michael Lorenzen throwing a no-hitter, and they're starting to get hot. Even though they're not going to be catching the Atlanta Braves in the NL East race, they're still alive in the wild card. And looking at the Phillies, they are above the Giants and hold the first wild card. So you have another competitive team right in the thick of things throughout. And then the Angels have to play teams like Oakland, but then you have Baltimore, who's very good, and then Cleveland, who's teetering here and there within their own division. Look at the AL Central. Cleveland's only 4.5, and they're 4 games under 500. If the Angels were in the AL Central, 1 game under 500, they'd be about 2.5 games out of first place in that division. Crazy to think, but unfortunately, the Angels have the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros in their division, and it just makes it tougher. The East is tough, the West is tough in both leagues, the American League and the National League. So there's games to be had for the Angels that they really, really need to sweep. And it's not just games, it's series. So we'll see how it goes. Again, with this Angel squad, forward thinking is one thing, but the Angels literally at this point can only take it one game at a time. I want to look forward to the future, be like, oh, we could take, we could sweep Oakland. We could take 3 of 4 here, 2 of 3 here. Can't do that right now. When we did that, the Angels go on a big losing streak. You can't take it too far in advance. And with tonight, August the 9th, a 6:38 first pitch, Angels against the Giants, trying to relive some of that 2002 World Series magic. Ohtani on the bump against Walker. Let's get you the starting lineups once again. For Walker and the Giants, he will have Wade Jr. DHing, Estrada at second, Flores at first, Peterson in left, Davis at third, Conforto in right, Bailey behind the plate with Crawford at short, and Matos in center field. That's the starting lineup for Gabe Kapler and the San Francisco Giants. And flipping it on over to Phil Philosophy Nevin and the Angels, all in support of Showtime. Shohei Ohtani, going to support with the t-shirt tonight. It's going to be Rengifo at short. Ohtani will bat for himself in the 2-hole, followed by Drury at second, Moustakas at third, Crone at first, Moniak in center, Renfroe in right, Theis behind the plate, and Randall Grichuk in left field to round out the starting 9 for the Halos tonight. But a lot of good things, hopefully. Yesterday was some positivity. The Angels snapping that 7-game losing streak, hopefully stopping the bleeding and completely turning the other direction and win. I know it'll be typical Angels fashion, right? That they would win tonight, get on a mini 2-game winning streak, and then have to sit on an off day tomorrow before going into Houston. Why does the Angels find a way to start a streak right before an off day? It's just, Murphy's Law. But they're going to have to find some way to not let tomorrow's off day get the better of them. Win tonight and take these 2 games of winning offense and pitching mentality into Houston and into Texas, because the Angels essentially need to do to Texas what they did last time. Angels took 3 out of 4. They need to take 2 out of 3, and they probably should do the same thing in Houston. If you remember, right, coming out of the All-Star game, the Angels should have won 2 out of 3 against the Astros, but they lost that Sunday on ESPN game that ended up ruining the series. But then they swept the Yankees, took 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh, swept the Tigers. They were getting back into this race. They were only 4.5 out of the division and 3 games within the wild card. So, yes, is there a never say die mentality? Yes. Are they mathematically in it? Yes. Did they dig a deeper hole and it's going to be harder to get out of it? Yes. But, mathematically they're not out. Theoretically, it's getting tougher. But you got to grit your teeth and grind, get your, butt to the grindstone and win games and sweep series that you really need to sweep. A couple people checking in. I know it's light. It's a little early. Don't forget, Todd will have his post-game show per usual tonight after the game. So check that out after the Angels and Giants go final, hopefully for win number 2 in a row for our Halos. But Big 20 coming in saying, what's up? How's it going, Big Hammer? Vetter checking in as well. Honking my horn for a divisional win. Vetter, I love the optimism. Keep that. As long as you have a little realism behind it, I'll give it to you. Silent E checking in saying, it seems like we're out of this, but Artie Moreno, and GM Perry Manassian are all in. So as long as there's a chance, we have to take it. 47 games left. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's true. The Angels did go all in, and a lot of people can make the conversation. Did they give up too much to make this run? They gave up many prospects, especially Edgar Quiero and Kai Bush for Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez, who are both free agents at the end of this year. Everybody they got is a free agent at the end of the year, except for Eduardo Escobar, who has, I believe, I don't know if it's either a player option or a team option worth $9 million. So we'll see how that goes. But I love Moustakas. I think Giolito will be a good pitcher for the Angels, and I love Ronaldo Lopez. Those three guys I can take on my squad any day if they want to come back to the Angels. Again, the big question mark at the end of the day is where's Shohei Ohtani going to go? Is he going to stay and eat up a lot of contract, or is he going to go somewhere else? And Perry Manassian is going to have a lot of money to have at his fingertips to try to rebuild this Angels organization into winning form. That's going to be a question that you got to take, into the offseason. We can't talk about that now because Ohtani is an Angel the rest of the year, but it is what it is. Hopefully Ohtani has no problem in his pitching hand. We need a good start. Absolutely. Ohtani needs a clean bill of health tonight. He's thrown 13 plus innings of consecutive shutout baseball. The 9-inning shutout against the Tigers, 4 against the Mariners last Thursday. But the hand cramping and the fingernail issue has been a problem. Hopefully that's all ironed out and he's ready to go tonight. I know it's hot and humid today in Southern California. There was reports of rain happening at the Big A about an hour ago. I'm going to check the good old Twitter X app right now to see if there was any updates. I know they weren't throwing the tarp on the field, which was a good situation, which means the Angels are still alive in some way, shape, or form. There will be no rain delay tonight. But as of right now, looking at the good old Twitter, besides ex-Angel Michael Lorenzen picking up a no-hitter tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies, it looks like all systems are cleared, and there will be Angel baseball tonight. So thankfully for that. It is a little sunny, a little all good things here for the Angels. It was just a little thing that just moved on, and typical April or August, the Angels always get a weird thunderstorm or shower that happened, but all is good tonight weather-wise for the Angels. Silent E checking back in, saying to finish the season 34-13 with this team, even with the September schedule getting easier, I feel like we'll finish at best 88-74. Well, I'll be real. I said this on the Halos in the Infield preseason forum that we had. I said the Angels would get into the postseason with the last wild card spot with a record of 86-76. The record could be correct, but I don't know if you can get into the playoffs with 86 wins with the competition that's being had in the American League right now between Tampa, Toronto, Boston, New York, Mariners, Texas, Houston. It's a deep, deep, deep American League this year. So maybe the Angels need 90 wins this year. And with the Angels currently right now at 57 wins and 58 losses, it really, really looks like if they can win, let's say 30 more games. I said 86. That means the Angels need to win 29 games. Can they win 29 of 43? Maybe. That would make them go, let's say, if Silent E said 34-13, if the Angels win 29, they'd be 29-18 to wrap up the season, which isn't horrible, 29-18. But I agree. I think the Angels need to win at least 30 games in order to really make some noise and to fix what this 7-game losing streak really did at this point. I know Big Hammer wants to party. He wants to have a good party this weekend. He wants to party tonight. He wants to party every day. And we want to party tonight as well. We want the Angels to pick up that dub tonight. Make it 2 in a row before going on the Texas two-step road trip to Houston and the Texas Rangers. But one final time tonight as we shut things down here on the Halos in the Infield pregame show. Dominic Lorenz from Katella Chronicles filling in for the one and only James, who had work yesterday and today, so was able to fill in for him. He will be back to give you the pregame show on Friday when the Angels take on the Houston Astros. It'll be Reed Detmers on the bump against Justin Verlander. But tonight, it's Shohei Ohtani against Ryan Walker. The lineup for the Giants is as followed: Wade Jr., Estrada, Flores, Peterson, Davis, Conforto, Bailey, Crawford, and Matos. And for Shohei Ohtani and your Angels, it'll be Rengifo, Ohtani, Drury, Moustakas, Crone, Moniak, Renfroe, Theis, and Grichuk, 1-9, top to bottom, for the visiting Giants and your Halos. But the Angels come in today 57-58. The Giants are 62-52. Angels looking to ride the ship somehow, some way. They're not mathematically eliminated. The theory is still there. Got to win a lot of games, and you got to take them in chunks. It starts tonight, trying to take 2 of 3 from the San Francisco Giants. But once again, I'm Dominic Lorenz. Don't forget to check out our sponsors for Halos in the Infield, 714 Tickets and Noble Ale Works, two great sponsors that support not only this pregame show, but the postgame show, the live streams that we do together, and also everything we do on social media, the graphics, the fun joke memes, everything. They got their label on it because they support what we're doing. And you, the fans, are a big part of that as well. Getting close to almost 800 subscribers on the YouTube page. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page yet here for Halos in the Infield, please do so. Share it to a friend. We want to get to 1,000. And if you haven't followed Katella Chronicles YouTube page yet for our podcast, please do so as well. But you know where to find HITI on social media. Halos in the Infield on Twitter, X, and Instagram. Podcasts on Spotify, YouTube, everywhere you get your podcasts. Same thing with Katella Chronicles. You can find us on social media at Katella_CHRON and on our website, katellachronicles.wordpress.com. But until next time, Halos in the Infield fans, I'm Dominic Lorenz. Cheers to the remainder of your Wednesday hump day. The Angels looking to take 2 of 3 from the Giants with Shohei Ohtani on the buck, looking to stay healthy and happy. Let's light that baby up, make it 2 in a row, get to the off day, and let's surprise some people, hopefully, in Houston and Texas on the next road trip. The Texas two-step is coming up. But until next time, Dominic Lorenz from Katella Chronicles, have a happy and safe rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of the weekend once we get there. But until I see you guys next time here on the Halos in the Infield YouTube page, or maybe even Katella Chronicles YouTube page or podcast, have a good one. We will see you guys later. Keep on cheering on those Halos. Light that baby up tonight. Let's go Halos.